the land of Canaan, where the winds whispered through ancient trees and the stars stretched endlessly overhead, lived a man named Abraham. He was chosen by God, not for his strength nor his riches, but for his faith. He had left behind everything, his homeland, his family, his comfort, because God told him to go. And Abraham obeyed. But there was one promise that burned brighter than the rest. God had told him that he would be the father of many nations. And for decades Abraham waited. Years passed. Wrinkles formed. Sarah grew old. And still, no child. But one day when it seemed impossible, Sarah laughed. Not in joy at first, but in disbelief. "Shall I now have this pleasure," she said, "after I am worn out, and my Lord is old?" But the Lord had spoken, and so it happened. Isaac was born, the child of laughter, the miracle they had longed for. Abraham held him close, watched him grow, and poured all his love into this boy. Isaac wasn't just a son, he was the embodiment of the promise, the proof that God was faithful. But then God spoke again. "Abraham." He answered as he always did, "Here I am." "Take your son," God said, "your only son whom you love, Isaac, and go to the land of Moriah. Offer him there as a burnt offering on one of the mountains I will show you." Silence. Abraham's heart dropped. Had he heard correctly? Offer Isaac. He didn't speak, he didn't protest, he didn't plead, he obeyed. The next morning, while the stars still clung to the sky, Abraham rose. He chopped wood, saddled a donkey, took 2 servants, and then called softly, "Isaac, come, we're going on a journey." The boy, now a young man, followed his father without question. For 3 days they traveled through rocky passes and dusty trails, under a sun that offered no comfort. Abraham said little. His eyes were fixed ahead, but his mind was full. Questions, memories, silent prayers. He looked at Isaac walking just ahead, his gait strong, his voice light and innocent. "How can I do this? How can I lift a knife to the boy I waited a lifetime for? And yet, God gave him to me. Can I trust him even now, even here?" On the 3rd day, Abraham saw the mountain in the distance. He stopped. "Stay here," he told the servants, "with the donkey. The boy and I will go over there. We will worship, and we will return." He said it aloud, "We will return," hoping it would anchor his faith in place. He placed the wood on Isaac's back and took the fire and knife in his own hands. As they climbed, Isaac looked around. "Father?" Abraham turned, his voice gentle. "Yes, my son?" "We have the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for the offering?" Abraham swallowed hard. He looked into Isaac's curious eyes and whispered, "God himself will provide the lamb." They reached the summit. The wind picked up, sweeping across the stone and dust. Abraham built the altar slowly, carefully placing each rock. Then came the moment. He turned to Isaac. "My son, come here." Isaac watched him. He was old enough now to understand. His eyes widened, not in panic, but in painful confusion. "Father," tears welled in Abraham's eyes. "Trust me," he said, his voice shaking. "Trust the God who gave you life." Isaac didn't resist. He laid himself on the altar, his heart pounding. Abraham reached for the knife. Every muscle in his body trembled. His hands hovered. One more breath, one more second. He raised the blade. "Abraham! Abraham!" A voice thundered from the heavens. "Here I am," he gasped. "Do not lay a hand on the boy," the voice declared. Do not do anything to him. Now I know that you fear God, because you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me." The knife fell from Abraham's hand. He stumbled back, sobbing. Then he saw it. Caught in a thicket nearby was a ram, its horns tangled in the brush. "Thank you," Abraham whispered, running to it. He freed the ram and offered it on the altar in place of Isaac. Isaac stood, shaken but unharmed, his father's arms wrapped around him. Together they named the place Yahweh Yireh, the Lord will provide. And the voice spoke again, "Because you have done this, because you did not withhold your son, I will surely bless you. Your descendants will be as countless as the stars in the sky and the sand on the seashore. Through your offspring, all nations on earth will be blessed, because you obeyed me." And so, father and son descended the mountain. Isaac, no longer just the child of promise, but now the living sign of trust. Abraham, no longer just the man of faith, but now the man who gave everything and still believed. This story isn't just about obedience, it's about surrender. Abraham didn't know how the story would end, but he trusted the one who wrote it. And in the moment of greatest sacrifice, God showed that he never intended to take, only to test, only to refine, only to reveal. Sometimes we're asked to place what we love most on the altar. Sometimes we're walking up the mountain burdened by fear, not knowing what waits at the top. But God sees, and when the time comes, He provides. Whatever mountain you're facing, remember, your obedience is never wasted. Your sacrifice is never unseen. And on the mountain of the Lord, it will be provided. Thank you for joining us on this journey through God's timeless stories. Each story we share is a reminder that though the world may change, His word endures forever. If today's story spoke to you, leave a like, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and don't forget to subscribe for more powerful journeys through Scripture. New episodes release every Friday. Until next time, keep walking by faith. And remember, every story is part of a greater story, the story God is still writing in you.